Sound coming through? I think it is. Welcome back to the stream, everybody. It's good to see you. And what are we doing today? I'm going to be doing some content because I've been spending the past, I don't know, many hours just working on various like technical improvements and UX improvements and everything. I've dumped a lot of time into the controller support. I'm still not done with the controller support, but the goal is when the next playtest comes out, which is soon, I want the controller support to feel really solid. That doesn't mean that it's gonna not have like weird parts and weird UX and whatnot, but I do want it to be solid enough where even with some minor issues, it's completely playable. So I've been working on that. I've also just been churning through just a bunch of unlock stuff, and there's actually one issue that I need to fix. Character selectable needs reference to unlock resource. Okay, anyway. So I'll go over a lot of the stuff that I've done. Most of the stuff that I've done is kind of invisible work though. But I'll see if I can identify anything. But I do want to do some content on this stream because I still want to put more content into the game before the playtest. But anyway, before I get into it, you can wishlist Alchemy Mortis on Steam. The link for that is in the description below. It's a dark fantasy roguelite auto battler where you can create your own builds and synergies using alchemy. And if you are interested in participating in the playtest early, you could subscribe to either tier on Patreon. So either tier will get you early access to the playtest that's coming up. But you will also get a Steam key for the full game if you subscribe at the sponsored tier for at least 1 month, as well as your name in the in-game Alchemy Mortis credits. So the credits are not in the game yet, but the plan is by the time the demo build is publicly available, there should be credits in that build as well. So yeah. Your name will be listed in the credits as a thank you if you subscribe to the sponsor tier for at least 1 month, and you'll also get a key for the full game. So it's like a pre-purchase. And you could also purchase my Udemy courses if you want to learn how to make games in the Godot engine. It's a great way to support me. It's a great way to learn Godot. And yeah, I think that's basically it. So we can get into it. Hello, Wuius, welcome. Always good to see you. It's awful quiet today. Monday, everyone's got to roll out of bed, you know? So anyway, let me just look through this. So there's basically most of these items are things that I just recently did. So I made some unlock tree improvements. Oh, I also restructured the unlock tree. So let's take a look at that. Unlock menu. So the previous unlock tree that I was showing you all, which is kind of like my work in progress one. But I restructured it. I spent quite a bit of time actually trying to put thought into like how to pace the different unlocks and how to situate them in the tree to make the pacing good in terms of like when you're unlocking new characters and whatnot. So this is the shape of the new tree. And in the full game, I'm hoping that this tree will be much bigger. But we will see. We've got the challenge list here, which still needs a little bit of work, but I did a bunch of UX stuff too, like I made it so that hitting the escape key will collapse these inner drawers and stuff, which required some reworking. But yeah, so here's what the tree looks like. You get the priestess after just a handful of unlocks, so that's good. I think the next character that you can unlock reasonably would either be Brittlebones or the courier. And then we've got the paladin down here and then the lich down here. So, you know, I tried to space them out as much as possible. Of course, there's also the challenge of like spacing out the bundles as well as the artifacts. So there are definitely like more artifacts than anything. So I'm just trying to figure out like what would be a reasonable pacing for these things. So like, for example, the hammer here is deeper down the tree. And so are the coals. The things that are a little bit more rewarding or a little bit more require a little bit more game knowledge to make effective use of I'm trying to put a little bit further down the tree. So yeah, so we got the hammer here, lich here, Deathsworn Paladin there. And yeah, that's basically what we got going on. I think there's still stuff I could do for the unlock tree to make it look nicer, but I think this is the version that you'll interact with in the playtest. So yeah, you got 2 different starting points. You could choose which branch to go down. I also changed it so that way you can see what the item name is before you unlock it. So you could see Artifact Coals of Eternity, but you don't get to see the description until you can actually unlock it. And it's the same for the characters. Like, you won't be able to bring up this inspector here. Oops, this scroll is not working. I made a bunch of scroll changes yesterday that apparently broke things. Why is that broken? Well, I don't need to think about that right now. We're not going to get sidetracked with bugs. I guess I'll just put this in here. So I made the controller able to scroll those windows, and I kind of like abstracted away the scroll functionality, but I think I broke the mouse scroll. Okay, anyway, but I can still scroll it with this, that's fine. It's just a little bit annoying. Why is that happening? I mean, there's a bunch of other issues too. I just broke the mouse scroll generator, because what's happening with the scrolling now is I'm actually hooking into the global input event, which I don't think I need to do that for mouse. So I have this scroll handler component. This scroll handler component, basically what it does is, in order for smooth scrolling to be enabled with the controller, I have to process the inputs in the process method and multiply out by delta so that we get a very nice, like, smooth, you know, velocity scroll with the controller. But with the mouse, we just respond immediately to whenever we receive the mouse scroll up or scroll down input event. Because the mouse scroll is not analog, it's still a digital thing, right? It's either scrolled down or not. It's either scrolled up or not. Whereas with a controller, you know, you could have a constant input on the right stick that does not trigger these input events, right? So you actually need to pull for that. So anyway, this scroll handler component was basically my way of abstracting out the scroll functionality so that it just seamlessly handles whether you're using a controller or a mouse. So if I go to my unlock tree, or let's just go to like challenge list. So the way it ends up getting set up is I just throw the scroll handler component in here. I have a couple of different modes that I can change depending on the situation, and then I can point it to a scroll container. But the way that it's supposed to work is it's supposed to work the same as the Godot input propagation. It's supposed to work in reverse depth first order, which means that the scroll handler component that is deepest in the tree is the one that should be handling the events. And that ends up being very natural. So like when I have, for example, a challenge list overlaid on the unlock tree, like here, this scroll bar and the scroll handler component that goes with it ends up being deeper in the tree than this scroll bar here. So it's just like a very nice natural way that kind of like mimics how Godot does the tree ordering of like deciding what scroll handler component is actually responsible for handling input at any given moment. But for some reason, that is not the case for this inspector. And I bet if I looked at it for a couple of seconds, I could figure it out. But I don't really know if I want to do that. But let's see. Unlock item inspector. Oh, well, there you go. I don't even have a scroll handler component. So let's just go ahead and add that right now. I guess I just forgot to add it. So we want to set this mode to disabled by default, point it to the scroll container that's in here. And then all I need to do, let's get the scroll handler component here. all I need to do is when we expand this, we want to set the scroll handler component mode to always, which basically just means process always. And then when we collapse it, since this is still in the tree, we actually need to change the process mode of it. But usually with these kind of components, they will be queue freed, and so it will just leave the tree automatically. But these ones are actually persistent, so I need to actually manually set those. So anyway, I just forgot to set up the scroll handler component there. So now if I go back in and I scroll, it should work. So I go to my unlock tree, open the inspector, and of course there's not one. There we go. There we go. So now this scroll is being handled appropriately. And I close that and I scroll. There we go. All right. That's good. So actually, this note is not correct. Anyway. Yeah, fix inspector scroll. Okay. So that's basically the kind of stuff that I've been up to the past couple of days here. What else have I done? I made a bunch of changes, like artifact rerolling is now a constant cost. It used to be an exponential growth, which didn't make much sense. So it's just a constant 10 blood cost. So as long as you have 10 blood, you can keep rerolling artifacts. I also made it so that artifacts, when they are rerolled, they are guaranteed not to choose an artifact that you were just shown, because that felt really bad. So you're guaranteed a brand new set of 3 new artifacts whenever you reroll. What else did I do? Trying to see if there's anything more notable. Critical bonus can now affect anything that applies a buff or a debuff. So it can affect mischance, paralysis, that kind of thing. So that's cool. I changed a bunch of scaling of abilities. I nerfed the phylactery quite heavily. What else? Difficulty modifiers. Yes, that's the new one. So character select. You can now select difficulty modifiers freely. So I don't have to have all of the previous ones when I select this one. I can just select that one if I want to. So you have complete freedom now as to what modifiers you want to have active. And of course that will be saved in your save file. And the way that you unlock difficulty, so in order to unlock the first difficulty, you have to win 3 runs just with no modifiers. And then once you win 3 runs, you unlock this one. But to unlock the second difficulty option, you need to win at least 1 run with that 1 difficulty modifier. So the way that it works is like, you have to win a run with all of the possible difficulty modifiers enabled in order to unlock the next difficulty modifier. But of the modifiers you have unlocked, you can select any combination of them. So if you get to a new character or something and you just want to like try something or have an easier run or whatever, you can definitely do that. Anyway, hello Clickertail, welcome. Here for the baby mushrooms. Hello Opacheco Dev. Sidetracked game dev is just debugging. Got your GitHub action in my repo now deployed to Steam. Awesome stuff, dude. Made the whole thing super easy. Yeah, you're welcome. Glad you like it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I use it in basically all of my projects, and you know, it's basically, that action is basically just, it's just a JavaScript action that just, it's easier to me, it's easier to write out the logic in JavaScript about like having all these different options configured than trying to express it all as like a giant, like, like a bash script or something. So I feel like it's a lot easier to configure, it's a lot easier to reason about, it's a lot easier to add new features to. But yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad it's working well for you. I'm using this for my Alka Mortis builds as well. Like I'm using the same code. All right, anyway, I want to draw some baby mushrooms. So we got a sprite open. So I have the Pylean in the game, which is just a play on the word. I think it's called a Pylus, which is the I think that's what the mushroom cap is called, technically, in technical language. So I have pyleans, which are basically myconids, right? But I can't use the word myconid because that's not like a common term. I think it's a D&D specific term. So we're using the word pylean. And so I want to create like this whole faction of pyleans where it's like just a bunch of different types of mushroom people, essentially. And sporelings, the baby mushrooms here, are actually going to be little baby mushroom people. So I'm just going to preemptively write the fact that we need flavor text here. Okay, sporelings, let's do it. So I have an idea, and I don't know how this is going to work, but my idea is that it's going to be like a swarm of little baby sporelings. Like there are a lot of them. I might make it a 2x1, because if I make it too tall, I'm going to have to add a bunch of depth to it, which may be okay, but I could also make it a 3x1. Ooh, that might be interesting. Let's try that. I've been itching to get back into doing some content because, yeah, I've just been working on like all that technical stuff lately. I had to rework a bunch of like the save system to support the new difficulty options, and I changed how some statistics are tracked and all that good stuff. But let's see if we can get something convincing here. I want to make these guys look a little bit goofy, if possible. You would think that making little mushroom people look goofy would be easy, but maybe not. So we've got like one of those guys. Probably gonna have to do I want to do this? Yeah, something like that. This one. That guy's kind of cute. So I probably want to add some depth as well. But we'll worry about that. We'll just draw a bunch of different mushroom characters and then we'll tidy them up later. Let's do a really tall one. Like this. And then we'll make him like almost like a hermit crab. That might even be okay like that. And then maybe we make like a really tall skinny one. So I do want to try to add some depth to this so they don't just look like they're lined up, you know? Move this guy here. Can maybe do something like that. Maybe we'll put something back here. That'll be fine. Might flip this guy around. Okay, I think maybe if I do like a big bulbous one in the background here. Actually, well, maybe. I'm not so sure about that one. Let's move it up a little bit. So we'll do the top of the cap over here. Kind of do something like this. Okay. We will see if we can make that work. We will see if we can make that work. Little tiny sporelings. So I'm just going to start with just some very basic shading. And then we can fix everything up. Just very basic. Nothing too fancy. Okay. You ever do any 3D modeling? The only time I've done 3D modeling was in college. As part of my game dev degree, I had to take I forgot. It was either one or two like 3D art classes. That's basically the only time I've done that. Okay, so we've got some very basic shading down. Now I want to, well, actually, I want to see what happens if I turn these white. I probably want to use, yeah, that'll work. But then I probably want to do maybe orange here. Oh yeah, I think that'll work better probably. So let's just make this easy. Don't know how easy this is going to be in practice, but we'll see. Okay. Oops, wrong one. Oops, wrong one. Okay. I'm hoping that this is really gonna start popping as soon as I add some more color to this. And then also like the little highlights. That's probably fine. That's probably fine as well. Oh, this guy's body needs to be white. Oops. That's his body. Okay. Oops, we'll worry about that later. Alrighty. So let's see what I can do about this. Try to get that one looks like he's got a little wizard hat. Okay. All right, and then we can probably work on adding some more like reds and stuff here. Yeah, we'll see how this looks. I don't know. We will see how this looks. Make this red out here. That's probably all right. Put a little red one there. That looks better. Well, they're a little bit goofy, but I think it's probably all right. Do I want to go extra and start putting some of these down? Yeah, I think that's fine. The real question is, what does it look like actually in game? I used to do 3D modeling in this game called Dreams and really enjoyed it. I want to try and make 3D platformer if I ever finish my current game. I've heard of Dreams, yeah. Pretty cool that your degree is in game dev and you're actually doing it. Well, I mean, I guess it's kind of cool, but the game dev degree didn't really teach me anything, to be honest. I think the game dev degree didn't really teach me anything. But I guess it's cool in a way. They're looking like they're about to drop the most fire album. I feel like it would be psychedelic rock, straight out of mycelium, dark side of the shroom. There you go. They look like fun guys. Hello. Oh, that's a joke. That's another pun. Hello, Jack. They're a cool bunch. Hello, V. The fun guys. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back. That is a good name. Matches my priors. Most game dev degrees don't seem very useful, just a way to attract students. Yeah, I mean, my school was pretty good, like, because they didn't make the degree purely about game dev. It was a game dev degree, but it was kind of mostly like it was like I don't know how to describe it, like an applied computer science degree kind of deal, where they tried to teach you skills that would be useful in like the professional, like non-gaming world, but with much more of a focus on like, you know, algorithms and see, I can't even remember. I mean, I graduated in 2017, so this was a long time ago, but yeah, I mean, we did a smattering of stuff like 3D art, algorithms. My final for one of my classes was building a compiler. So there was a lot of computer science topics with like game development specific things sprinkled in. It was very, very algorithms heavy. There was multiple algorithms classes where we did things, you know, like we implemented our own linked lists and we implemented our own you know, A-star pathfinding algorithm. There was one class as well where we created a quasi like OS kind of thing. It was not really an OS. It was basically just like I don't even remember. I don't even know what to call it. It was like a bare bones C program that could like read. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like it was an operating systems class, and we did something like that. Just building like very bare bones like input handling and text display in a terminal with a C, just with C. So it was pretty useful, and there were some interesting parts for sure. Oh, one of the things we had to do was we implemented our own 3D engine in the sense that like we actually had to do the math to take the camera transform and like map everything that was within the camera's frustum to like a pixel on screen. So we implemented the whole like the system from going from the transforms of everything in 3D space to projecting that onto the screen based on the camera's position and frustum and all that stuff. And that was pretty interesting. That was really hard. But yeah, it was a lot of stuff like that. I obviously don't remember a lot of it, so you could debate how useful that ended up being, but I would say I learned more about like practical game development and just software engineering generally from work and from doing my own projects, but anyway. What does it look like if I add these guys to the game? These are obviously fungus. We'll make them alchemical. We're not going to make them minions. We'll just make them alchemical fungus. And I'll figure out what to do with them later. But game debug. Test player cards. My CS degree was moderately useful. They taught you how to code, but failed to teach Git very well. Yeah, I think that was the big problem that I had with college is like the professional world in terms of how software is written is just like completely different than what you're exposed to in college. Like they taught you all this theory, like here's all these algorithms and stuff, but they never, like the professors literally don't know what modern software development looks like. Because they've been professors for 10 years, right? But anyway, I have a degree in applied computer science. Am I a game dev? Yes. What students are doing these days, education industry is totally, yeah, that's true. A Windows Explorer? I don't know what that means. But welcome, Loggerhead. Same here pretty much. I'll never forget having to implement Dijkstra's algorithm or doing OS and C. Yeah, sounds very similar to what I had to do. Like I said, I don't remember basically any of it. Like even the compiler class, which was basically like, you know, you construct a grammar to parse the source files, and then once the source files are parsed, you have to like take that graph and like create, I think we were supposed to create assembly from that. So we have this grammar that parses the file, makes sure that the file is actually valid, like in terms of the syntax and everything. And then once you've validated it, you have like the graph of everything that needs to be quote unquote compiled to like assembly or something like that. I don't remember. I didn't do that part. I was like, this is too hard. So I just did the parsing and validation and then took my grade from that. It was senior year and I was like, I don't care about this anymore. So I just took a C on the final because I didn't finish it. And I was like, I'm not going to finish it. Okay, so we've got our sporelings. Sporelings. All that's required is that you make games, yeah. They are super minions. When you were saying you made an OS, I thought you meant you made a file explorer instead of an actual OS. No, it was like, it was an operating systems class, so it was about doing like, see, I don't even remember, but it was about like, how do you initialize, like we did the whole thing, like we set up like a boot manager and everything to load this program. So it was an OS in the sense that like it could actually be booted, like that was what it did. But all that it could do was just like display some text and like read some keyboard input. But it was an operating system in the sense that like, yeah, you could actually boot into that. Like that was the operating system. It's not an operating system that anyone would ever want to use. But yeah, it wasn't just an application. So yeah. We had to do checkers in assembly. Was from the convo a long time ago. Yeah, I gotcha. Chess in Java. Oh, I think we did something like that too. I think we did something like that as well. Can't remember. I'm 33 and never went to college, but I'm excited to do a higher diploma in software development. That was pretty much a piece of paper, but I guess it's better to work towards a piece of paper than nothing. Yeah, perhaps. Welcome to Mercian. Good to see you. Kind of makes me think the crazy guy that made Roller Coaster Tycoon Assembly. Yeah, I don't even know. Those people are just on another level, I suppose. Just on another level. All right, we need to give this guy some abilities. What was I thinking of? I want to do something with blind. Every time blind was applied, do X. Some kind of bonus for having adjacent fungus items. Maybe project an ability to... Okay, so maybe this... I'm seeing something we could do here. We could project blind to adjacent fungus items. And then for every time blind was applied... We want to do something. Maybe we could do like true damage or something. True damage, life steal. We don't have a whole lot of life steal. Maybe true damage or life steal or something like that. But I think this is the synergy here. What kind of game do they make in game dev degree? We did a couple of things. Like we made a game in Pygame as a class. So in freshman year, we used Pygame. That was like our intro to programming or whatever. And then by the end of the year, we ended up like having a class-wide project where we all worked on the same game in Pygame. And then in senior year, we made a game in Unreal where we also worked with a 3D artist, because my school had like an art path for the game development degree and like a technical path. And so in senior year, all of the artists and all the programmers in that degree worked on the same like senior project. And yeah, that was kind of a disaster, but it's okay. I wouldn't advise anyone to join CS these days. You can just write it in a higher level language and have it compiled to assembly. Writing in assembly seems redundant. You said synergy report to business school, yeah. Most degrees are like that. They cover all kinds of topic rather than the online courses that dedicate to just building one complete game. Yeah, that is true. At the first semester of CS, we had to make a game using App Game Kit. Oh, interesting. I haven't heard of that. I'm an autodidact. I can't relate. Yeah, college was not really for me. I learned so much more just doing my own projects and working as a programmer intern, and then ultimately getting a full-time job. Like the amount of stuff I learned in like the first year of full-time employment is like, it dwarfs everything that I learned in 4 years of college. But you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So project blind to adjacent fungus items. Let's make that a non-combat composed ability. Or do I want to make it an active ability? Maybe we'll just make it active. So var blind is equal to ability builder dot blind. Let's do card sporelings blind, duration, magnitude. Okay, configure. We'll just do query options dot directions is equal to board inventory component dot query directions dot entire board. Query options dot query source board. Query options dot limit is equal to 1. Okay. All right, var blind projector is equal to ability builder dot project ability, card sporelings projected blind. Do I need to do that? Oh, I suppose I do. So this is going to be the blind ability, and then query target provider. Does this have any default? No, it doesn't. Okay. Query options dot query directions is equal to adjacent query target provider dot query options dot secondary tag filter is equal to secondary card tag dot fungus. I think that's it, actually. So then we put the blind projector here. Okay. Feel like I learned a lot in college, but also miserably overworked. Oh, interesting. The poor kids these days, though, they're screwed. Yeah. It would not be fun to be going to college right now, I don't think. Not everyone can absorb the fundamentals of CS outside of college, and I've worked with a few non-degreed people that really would have benefited from that knowledge. Yeah, that's true. I think that's true. I think, you know, my problem with college is, like, I personally probably didn't need it. But, you know, everyone says, no, go to college, like, you got to go to college, blah, blah, blah. And then I end up going to college, and then I'm, like, disappointed and also out a bunch of money. And it's like, well, that was kind of pointless. But it's all right. It's done. But, you know, everyone's different. I think I called this Mushroom Man. There we go. Okay, let's see if that actually works. Sweet. So that is indeed working. So now we got to do the second part of the ability. Okay. So now we got to do something per blind applied. I worked with a self-taught C programmer who didn't understand pointers. He just added stars and ands until it compiled. Oh my goodness. Shout out to cheap public universities. Well, that's what I ended up doing. I went to a cheap public university, and I also had a scholarship, so I didn't pay tuition the whole 4 years I was there, which made it, you know, a lot nicer, obviously. I did an apprenticeship. Yeah, apprenticeship is the way to go. Honestly. I wish that was more common. I wish that was more common. Anyway. Okay, so now we need to do a blind. Let's just do lifesteal per blind. That'll be an interesting one. I don't have a whole lot of lifesteal going on in this game. Oh, but this is a composed ability. That's going to be a little bit annoying. Is it going to be annoying? Ability execution tracker 4 type. Buff applicator mischance debuff. Board target. I forgot how this works. Is source board. So I think I want my board target to be all boards. And then I want to do Shoot, I forgot how to make this work. Oh, that doesn't help. Maybe wasp? No. Additional filter x dot context dot target info. So var enemy item enemy cards targeted is equal to x.context.targetInfo. Let's see. Get opponent board for card x.listener card. Targeted cards dot count opponent board dot has board inventory component has card y. Is that what I want to do? No, that's not what I want to do. Buff applicator mischance debuff. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it so that way I can listen. Trying to make it so that I can listen for any time blind is applied to an enemy from any source. But I don't know. Running count. So this is not tracking targets. What am I gonna do about that? Let's see. Target info. I thought there was another. All right. I don't know if I'm actually gonna be able to count the targeted. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe. Do I want to do this additional filter? On triggered. Maybe I just increment captured confused count. This one is probably wrong too. I need to, this count needs to increase by. Okay, actually that might be wrong too. So actually I don't want this initial filter. I think what I want is I want to count this. And then I do something like var captured blind application count. We do captured blind application count plus equals enemy cards targeted. Is that right? So we're going to get the opponent board. We're going to look at the target info, the targeted cards for the mischance debuff. We're going to count up every Yeah, we're just going to count up every entry in targeted cards where the card is on the enemy board. And then we're going to add that. Where is this captured confused count reset though? Generic combat start listener. I think what I want to do is like some kind of generic reset ability is equal to new generic ability. We've got the context here. I think I just want to set captured application count to 0. And I also generic reset ability. Am I doing this the right way? Track ability. So let's see, get total ability executions of type. No, that's not right either. Yeah, I think the only way I can do it is this way, which is a little bit weird, but we'll just stick with it. New generic transient state. Captured blind application count is equal to 0. Okay. We'll make that work, I suppose. Hello, that guy, Doru, welcome. Been working at a gaming company for the last 10 years, but in a non-technical role. Since last year, I'm learning software development and doing college conversion course that lasts about a year. Am I doomed? I don't think so. Kind of reminds me of that meme, I'm 21, my life is over. No, I don't think so. I think being dynamic is good. I think learning new skills, and it's never a bad thing to give yourself opportunities, even if those opportunities don't pan out. Like the entire way that I go through life anyway is like, take as many opportunities as I can get, give myself as many options as I can possibly give myself. And if any one of the options or opportunities doesn't work out, the point is that I've still got more, more options. So I think having optionality, dynamism, opportunities, it's always a good thing. Even if it doesn't end up working out, you never know when pursuing an opportunity is going to open up another opportunity. Like what you don't want to do, right, is stagnate. You don't want to just be paralyzed with, well, I've got this nice job right now and college is a lot of work or whatever, because then you're just no opportunities are going to present themselves to you, right? You have to create a little bit of controlled chaos so that new opportunities can be revealed or that can arise, right? That's the way I think about it. So I think it's always a good thing when you have opportunities and you create opportunities for yourself. Hello, it is Cesar. Hope you have a good day so far. I am having a good day, thank you. Just saw an Applebee's ad out of nowhere. I guess it's the day of the month to re-up my Prime sub to your channel. Ads are so jarring. Sorry about that. I gotta make that bread. Hello, Raymond, GS Dev. Welcome. Good to see you. X gonna give it to you. Hopefully you get something out of the deal. Yeah, I do make a nice little chunk of pocket change from Twitch. So yeah. Hello, Mels. It's a shame my schedule doesn't allow me, but otherwise I'd be on time for your streams. That's all right. We are all doomed. Don't let Firebelly reassure you. Goodness gracious. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break. When I come back, we will finish up this ability, and then maybe we can move on to drawing a new item as well. I think this one is almost done. It should work. I may want to fix the succubus as well, because I think it's the same problem. but maybe not. I might not need to fix that. Okay, anyway, BRB, and we will continue on when I get back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. So let's see what we got going on here. So basically, I haven't even done the lifesteal part of this yet. Can I do this? Var lifesteal is equal to new lifesteal. Let's do 3. And then we need an ability repeater. This does handle composed abilities, so hopefully this works. Lifesteal, and then we say we repeat by captured blind application count. Okay. All right, so what do we need to do? Firstly, we need the ability. Let's do the ability tracker first. Then we need to do the ability repeater. Then we need to do the generic reset on executability. Then we need to do the generic reset ability. Let's change this to generic transient ability. Generic transient state. So basically what's happening is I'm listening anytime a blind is applied by anyone, I'm listening. And then in the on triggered, so when this actually gets triggered, what I'm doing is I'm checking, okay, what is the listener card? The listener card will be whatever card this ability is attached to, right? So what is the opponent board for the listener card? And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at all of the items, all the cards that this mischance debuff targeted, and we're going to count up all of the targets that are enemies. And then we're going to increase that value, the captured blind application count, by the number of enemy cards targeted. And then what we'll do, so that ability tracker is just always active, it's always listening. And then what we do is when it's this card's turn, we execute this lifesteal a number of times equal to that captured count. And then we reset it in this generic ability back to 0. And then this generic transient state, this is a special type of ability that gets called when combat ends. So essentially, we don't want to carry over a blind application count from the previous combat. So that's why that's here, right? So we want to reset the value after we execute the lifesteal, but we also want to reset the value when the combat ends, just so we're not carrying anything over. And I think that's it. And of course, I need to rename. So let's do lifesteal per blind apply, per blind. Yeah, we'll just do that. Scaling function, we need to do lifesteal scale for tier. Do we want to increase the blind chance? Yes, we do. Oh wait, no. This is not, yeah, never mind. We're good. Repeat for every enemy. Keywords blinded since last execution 0. And then in here, what we're going to do is we're going to do inner ability description wrapper from lifesteal. Card spoilings, lifesteal per blind. Okay, and then I need to add this here. All right. Build. Rebuild the translations. I forgot to add the keyword. Okay, build again. Translation built, let's just double check that. Repeat for every enemy blinded since last execution, deal 3 damage and heal for the damage dealt. Cool. How does that actually work though? Oh yeah, it does damage after shield, okay. All right, let's see if it works. Oh, we should probably make that one innate. Repeat for every enemy blinded since last execution, deal 3 damage and heal for the damage dealt. Cool. I'm gonna change its like crit bonus and stuff too. But anyway, add item mushroom man. Ooh, that Pylean actually hits pretty hard. All right, let's see what happens. So this should project blind. Okay, let's see if it does a lifesteal now. Bam, it did a lifesteal. Excellent. Now we obviously want to make sure that that works in all cases. Let's add the giant squid. Oh, of course. Of course, that's innate. Of course. This developer is making things innate. I can't use them. What else has a blind? I can't remember. What else has a blind? Does the eyeball have a blind? No. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's working. Oh wait, I can do this. What am I doing? Let's go look for a blind item. I always forget. Oh, also I want to check. I think I'm going to nerf fairy wings again. I really don't want fairy wings to be broken for the next playtest. Hello, Emerson. Welcome back. Why am I having trouble finding blind? Salt of Heart's Horn. Do I not have many blind abilities in here? Oh, here we go. Idle. I guess I don't have a whole lot of blind abilities. Probably a gap that needs to be filled. I've got a lot, like, I'm pretty... If this game does well, I could see this game approaching like 500 or 600 cards total over its lifetime, because there's just like so many synergy gaps or synergies that I could build. Like I get, excuse me. I have to stop smoking, I guess. I don't smoke, that's a joke. But there's a ton of synergy gaps. Like I don't have anything built around like self-poison damage, for example, or self-damage generally is a very weak synergy. I still need to build out the synergies regarding armor, right? But I could also build out synergies around like, there's not a whole lot of healing synergies. And of course, then I've got the whole secondary tag system, which is basically just a way of me creating new synergy possibilities just on demand. So I could just say, oh, I'm feeling a little bit limited in terms of like what synergies I can build. Let's just introduce a new secondary tag. And now we've got like Abyss, right? And now we can make a bunch of abilities scale off of Abyss tags and stuff, right? So I'm not saying there will be that many cards at release, but like there's so much like unexplored potential here that I think that, you know, if I were to continue working on the game after release, we could get hundreds upon hundreds of items. Hello, Amungos, welcome back. What are we making today? We just made these little sporelings here. And we're gonna see if this blind works. So we should see 2 lifesteals, or maybe 3 lifesteals happening. Okay, yeah, it's definitely working. Cool. So we want to make one of these innate. Let's just do the projection ability as innate. So projection, blind projector. Blind projector.set is innate true. Oops. What the heck just happened? What the heck just happened? Okay. So that's innate. Hello, Asymmetrics. Good morning to you. Always good to see you. Learning C++ while watching stream. Pointers scare me. If you tell me that a language has pointers, I'm like, stay away from me. I want to get as close to JavaScript as possible, not the other direction. Oh, anyway. Okay. So I think that works. I think we're basically done. Let's just change the sporling. We gotta add flavor text to them. Let's see, turn cooldown. I'm gonna turn this up to 50. Let's turn the critical bonus up to 5. Critical chance, let's do 15. And I think we're good. So let's just save that. Cool. Add sporelings. All right, new item added to the game. While I'm an Asian, here it is night, 8:51 p.m. Oh, gotcha, okay. Does it ever happen to you that you're typing something while listening to something else entirely and the word you hear matches the one you were just typing? It's eerie and funny. Anyways, good morning. Yeah, that happens sometimes. C# has pointers, yes, but I don't have to deal with them. That's the thing. That is opt-in functionality that you can use if you're hyper technical or doing something specific. Me, I pass off everything to the garbage collector gods and hope that they do things correctly. I just learned Go for work since our new backend is moving from TypeScript to it. Yeah, I had to work on Go backend for a period of 6 months at one of my previous jobs, and I remember it just being really weird. But that was because I wasn't super experienced in Go, especially, but just generally speaking. So I mostly just fumbled my way through that project, and I'm sure I didn't do a great job on the code, but oh well, not my problem. Anymore, anyway. That was back in like 2018 though. 2019 maybe. I'll consider that ignore as you are asking him. I don't know what you're talking about, Among Us. I don't know if those questions were directed at me or not. Anyway. So baby mushrooms are done. Let's nerf fairy wings right now. Actually, did I not nerf it? Yeah, here's what I'm gonna do instead. Alchemy average cooldown. Sets the cooldowns of the left and right adjacent items to the average cooldown of left and right adjacent items. So ability, alchemy, average, cooldown. Oh, this one is just, I didn't build this correctly, I suppose. Targets. Right sum is equal to right query. Actually, let's just do this. Var sum is equal to, I don't think I can do this, right? right. Average is equal to joined sum base turn cooldown divided by joined dot length dot count. I always get that mixed up. This is an int, so I probably want to make at least one of these no, it has to be an int. That's all right. Okay, so we've got the average. Oh, I could just do this easily now. I could just do for each var item or card in joined base cooldown changes card is equal to average cooldown. We don't care about these anymore. We don't care about that anymore. Record reagent effect card. Okay. Let me just do this for safety. Mathf.max of 1 and that, just in case it happens to end up at 0. I don't think that would happen. Shouldn't be possible, but doesn't hurt to be safe. Okay, let's see what that does. Has matured a lot as a language since then, finally supports generics, but it's interesting how intentionally small the language is kept. Yeah. I'm weirder, I'm just pursuing programming in game dev in my free time, landed on C#. Pointers also scared me away from C++, yeah. Okay. It's all right, Among Us. We could just keep going. We could just keep going. It's okay to be a little lost sometimes. All right, let's see. Add item fairy wings. Sets the cooldowns of left and right adjacent items to the average cooldown of left and right adjacent items. So the main use case I'm thinking is we put like the phylactery here and the skeleton oh, that's not gonna work. It's okay, I have a trick up my sleeve. Death Orchid, bam. Oh, also the one thing that I did is I adjusted the corruption chance. A lot of you, when you tried the playtest last time around, said that it was really hard to reason about what the corruption chance was doing. So it's very simple now. It starts at a 50% chance with without the relevant difficulty modifier. So the base chance is 50%, and then for each cell that is filled in your alchemy board, the chance is reduced by 5%. So essentially, if you fill your board up, the chance will go down to 0. The difficulty modifier increases the base to 75%, and I believe that works out to be such that on a normal alchemy board size, the 4x4 size, you have to fill in 15 slots out of the 16, 15 cells out of the 16 to get to 0% chance. So I think that that just makes a lot more sense. It's a lot easier to see how it linearly goes down as you add items. So I think that should be good. And the base 50%, I mean, if I just put the skeleton dragon in here, that already reduces it to 5% chance. So I almost kind of like that better because there's still a tiny chance if you're not maximizing the board that you're going to get a corrupted ability, which I think is a lot more interesting anyway. So if you really want to go down to 0, you'll have to fill it up. But if you want to take the chance, you know, you can just put like, if you have this many slots filled, it's 20% chance, which is a 1 in 5 chance, kind of a lot, but that might make the game a little bit more interesting as well. You guys are still in. It's funny. Okay, so anyway, I was gonna do this. So we swap or average. So what is the average of 3.6 and 9.8? So it would be 98 plus 36 divided by 2. 67. All right, let's see if it goes to 6.7 seconds. 6.7, 6.7, look at that. So yeah, I think Fairy Wings is still strong because you can bring the cooldown of a long cooldown item down quite substantially, but you also incur the penalty of raising the cooldown of any item that has a lower cooldown than the average, right? So that should be a much better change for the Fairy Wings. I wanted to do that for a while now, so make Fairy Wings do average instead of swap. That also gives the Fairy Wings a stronger identity. You're obviously not going to want to use it on like low cooldown items already, so anyway, make Fairy Wings. Okay. What is a World Cup? Sounds like sports. Alrighty then. There's one thing I need to do. I don't think I properly attached the character unlock resource here. Character Paladin. Okay. Let's clear my save data, just make sure that this works. Okay, let's go to the character select. I shouldn't see the Paladin as selectable now, yeah? Okay, cool. This screen needs some love, but that's all right. I won't worry about it just yet. I need to rework the Skull Wand too. The Skull Wand is not terribly interesting. Let's do this corrupted ability. Somebody had this idea, I forgot who it was. Corrupted ability that sells for 0 blood. Make the item sell for 0 blood. Sell price modification. Sell price override is override. Okay. Alchemy, corrupted abilities. Does this need to be a passive ability? Where is this used? I'm just going to copy this. Let's call it sell price 0. Ability corrupted. 0 sell price. We don't want it to be hidden. Okay. And just to test it, let's remove all these other items. Actually, can I do... let me see. Does my cheat helper allow me to add abilities to items? Oh, actually, I don't think adding... Let me think about it. Yeah, if I wanted to be able to add an ability to an item through the cheat menu, I would have to do some kind of like way of universally identifying abilities. Like if I wanted to add the sell price 0, I might have to do something like the cheat helper would be something like add ability, and then it would be corrupted dot probably 0 sell price. But if I wanted to do something like a skeleton warrior, I'd probably need to do something like add ability card dot skeleton warrior dot damage. But I need to create like a whole system of like translating this string into like finding the ability. I think it could be doable, but I wonder if I should just create a system for that actually. Card provenance model. Let's see. I mean, I could just create some helpers for that, like get unique identifier for provenance or something that returns this string, and then I could say like parse provenance from unique identifier. And actually, could that simplify my save system? Source, card ID, and key could all be collapsed down to a single string. But I don't know about that. Like if I formatted the string like source dot... Well, there could be optional, right? Like, because if the source is card, then it would have a card ID and then key. But for like corrupted, it would just be source.key. So I'd have to conditionally like parse that based on what the source is. I don't think it's worth it. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'll just comment out these abilities. I think there is a path forward on that if I wanted to support adding abilities to item from my cheat menu, but I don't really have the time to work on that right now. So we will just deal with doing it this way. So this is a 40% chance. Come on. There we go. Oops, I forgot to build the translation, but it is selling for 0, so it doesn't do anything. Cool. So I just need to build the translation and then it should be fine. Actually, I need to rebuild this anyway. Okay. Can't believe you're cheating. Hylian Chief. Do we dare take a chance and try to draw this one? Skeleton champion. Deal damage based on bleed stacks of vampire. I do want to do more content. I need to find a use for the eyeball as well. I kind of wanted to do like a beholder style enemy. I can't call it a beholder, I don't think. All right, let me look at the Discord and see what suggestions are there. There's a lot of them. Oh, legendary ability idea from Ninja Link. Maybe we'll do that. Deal damage equal to the amount of time all items were paralyzed. Okay, let's do that. We're going to use Ninja Link's idea from the Discord for the legendary ability. That should be interesting. Let's see, I need to do a lot more legendary abilities. I think my legendary ability list is quite anemic, is the word I would use. Let's see, how many legendary abilities are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are only 5 legendary abilities. There needs to be like 50 of these guys. Here we go. Let's create 50 right now. Okay, new composed ability. We need to pass in a target provider initial base magnitude. Oh. This may actually be... This one may actually be hard. I think we can make it work. I just need to think about this. Let me think. So my paralysis doesn't explicitly support varying the amount of time it's paralyzed based on the item itself. So I think there's a way around this though. Let's set up my query target provider first. I think my system can support this. I just need to approach it in a different way. Query options dot, nope. Oh, no, sorry. Options dot query directions. Okay. I think that's it actually. So generic ability is equal to new generic ability. Okay, And we have the context. For each var target in query target provider.get cached targets. Okay. Var cooldown is equal to target.get turn cooldown. Var paralysis duration is equal to cooldown divided by 2. Paralysis applicator. We unfortunately need to construct a new query target provider. Options.custom filter is equal to card. Card is equal to target. Okay, we pass in the target provider here. Or actually, can I create var cached target provider is equal to new. I thought I had like a generic static target cached provider. Yes. New static target cached provider target. So I actually don't need this. Okay. Cached target provider there. The base magnitude is paralysis duration. And then this magnitude needs to be new paralysis debuff magnitude. Okay. CTX dot add I think I need to make a new class. Generic ability with result. This has to be a func, and then it returns execution context with no execution result. Is there a reason why this isn't working? So this would be generic ability with result, return new base card ability dot execution result. Base abilities to add to execution is equal to paralysis applicator. Oops. We have to add that to the list, and then we return the list out. Okay. So the remaining problem, though, The remaining problem is I don't know how to add up this magnitude. This is an I ability value provider. What does that actually apply? Buffs applied. Okay. I need to add up this final magnitude here. Okay, this is going to be a little bit tricky, but basically, base ability stat execution. How does this work? I think it inserts it right there, if I'm not mistaken. Base card, insert range, J+1, execution result. Yeah. So what should happen is this generic ability with result will get executed. Generic ability with result. It will add all of those paralysis things in here, essentially, and then I can do some kind of ability tracker, I guess. Ability tracker. Oh, fudge. How do I make this work? Well, I don't want to do... Let me think about this. I don't know. Hello. I hope that's an I. Can't tell with these fonts. It's either L Moni or I Moni. Welcome. Good to see you. Bought your 2D course on Udemy and currently learning the course. Do you have any recommendations for Godot devs that make auto battler games? I'm making an auto battler game right now, as a matter of fact. But are you talking about tutorials? I don't know of any tutorials that cover that specifically. I'm sure there are some, but yeah. C++ is easy and fun. That's good. All right, have a good night, Among Us. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. This is a little bit annoying. Ability tracker is equal to ability tracker dot self for type buff applicator paralysis debuff. Let's see. Event is ability T and context base card is equal to event not listener card and addition of filter dot invoke. Okay, so I need to just supply the on triggered here. On triggered. So this would be var buff applicator is equal to x dot ability as buff applicator. Is this not typing that ability? Is it possible to do that? Oh well, doesn't matter. We'll just do an extra check in here. I'm sure this is not necessary, but we'll just return if that happens to be null. That shouldn't be the case because I'm passing in T here. The default filters out abilities is T. But I guess I don't really have a... I mean, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I guess I'll just be safe. Okay, so var captured total paralysis duration is equal to 0. Captured total paralysis duration plus equals buff applicator dot get magnitude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do ability tracker here. We are going to need var generic reset paralysis duration. New generic ability CTX captured total paralysis duration is equal to 0. We will put that here first. Generic reset paralysis duration. So by the time this ability runs, which is the one that applies the paralysis, we should only be listening then for buff applications that are, number 1, coming from this item, and number 2, that have only happened since this. So that should work. Generic ability with result. Okay. Now we need to do damage based on that total duration. So this dynamic damage is equal to new dynamic magnitude ability, value provider, new generic value provider, captured total paralysis duration. This would have to be divided by 10. I think that's right. I need to think I need to follow a tutorial for some months. Yeah, sorry, I don't have anything off the top of my head that I'm aware of with regards to auto battler tutorials. Keywords.paralysis.paralyze adjacent let's just do query target provider dot to query string template 0. For half of their cooldown and deal damage equal to the total time items were keywords dot paralysis dot paralyzed. Ability legendary, or let's do paralyze and damage here. Okay. I guess we'll just see if it works. I forgot to build the translations. Build translation and missing. Keywords.paralysis. Okay. Build. Build the translations. Okay. Add item lead ingot. Put this in with the phylactery. Paralyze. I forgot to capitalize it. Adjacent items for half of each item's cooldown and deal damage equal to the total time items were paralyzed. I may need to reword that a little bit, but this should deal 3 damage then. It didn't work. Oh, I forgot to put the query target provider here. My bad. Okay. Got to redo this legendary again. Okay, so it should deal 3 damage, right? 3 damage. Did it do 3 damage twice? It's dealing 3 damage twice. Yeah, it dealt 3 damage twice. Why is it doing 3 damage twice? Oh, it has echo. Oh, it's echoing the legendary ability. Oh, no. Sometimes it's applying. Wow. Okay. Interesting. It's echoing. And this paralysis keeps climbing up because paralysis stacks. Okay. All right. I was like worried for a second. Like, why is it doing that? Okay. I'm going to change this a little bit though. Let's capitalize that. Base damage is equal to 1. Base damage per second. Let's just do that for now. Captured paralysis duration divided by 10 times base damage per second. I guess I don't need to do that. And deal 1 damage per second of total paralysis duration applied. Okay, and then this would be okay, let's give that a whirl. That is definitely an interesting one. Paralyze adjacent allied items for half of each item's cooldown and deal 2 damage per second of total paralysis duration applied. So this should be doing essentially 2 damage, I think. Yeah, it dealt 2 damage. Perfect. Awesome. That ability is working. New legendary ability added. Perfect. Let's make sure to uncomment all of these again. I have to build the translations again. Okay. Excellent. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool indeed. Now the thing I'm wondering is... well, it's probably all right. So yeah, I mean, I think the good thing is my ability system is mature enough now where accomplishing these kinds of abilities is generally pretty straightforward. It still takes a lot of effort, but you know, once the ability is made, it's done. You know, it doesn't require really any maintenance or anything. So yeah, that's good. All right then. I am going to end the stream there. I may do an afternoon stream, maybe not though, because I'm just going to be doing a bunch of technical stuff. Going to be going back to doing controller improvements and whatnot this afternoon, and then I basically have to get through this to-do list before the next playtest is ready. I still got to do a bunch of sound effects work. This one is done, so that's good. But yeah, we're very close to the next playtest. And I can't wait to hear what you guys are doing. So my goal for this next playtest is basically to finalize all of the new stuff that needs to be tested. Controller support, balance changes, crit bonus, etc. Unlock tree. Collect a final round of feedback on that, and then I think the plan is ideally to release the public demo as the next thing. So this will likely, or there's a good chance that this next playtest will be the last playtest before the publicly available demo build. So this will be like the last chance to give significant feedback for me before we go full on into marching towards the release. But we're very, very close indeed. It's going to be out very soon. So very soon. I mean, I guess that's relative, but still on track to release by the end of this year. So yeah, we're getting there. Anyway, Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. You can wishlist Alchemy Mortis on Steam if you want to, if you're interested in this kind of game. And I appreciate the support. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Be sure to join the Discord to be notified when I go live. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.